Check, check, 1, 2, radio check. Over Bill. On the bomb to the corner, lane up through the trial zone. Check up, go. Not sure why we did that, I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody to get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit. Get out of the gas, slow down. Somebody split up right in front of me.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs to Raceway. It's Kurt Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland and Garland leading the way, showing these drivers how to get it done.
Engines roar, louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast lead, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens, captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast league ends, never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast league ends, never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the freight. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening for the must-love Poodles 250 here from Phoenix Raceway as the Outcast Racing League gets ready to rumble here in this one for 165 laps of racing action for what is going to be another amazing show and another amazing night of battling here on Peacemaker Gaming. As qualifying has been completed, all these drivers are loaded into the sim, and each and every one of them is going to be looking for the win here as they roll down and out onto the racetrack here as we'll go through our starting grid. And starting on the pole in the number 71, it is the Chipotle number 71, a Jameson Heath, who is outside the Muscle of Poodles number 9 ride. It's Tyler Humphrey. Starting in position number 3 in the 6th ride, that is Johnny Barker, who is outside in the 21. That is Rob Lowell. Lowell will start there in 4th with Colton managing the Shenko Custom Diecast 00 back in 5th. To his outside will be the 7 machine of Devin Black. The Outcast Racing League number 81, Anthony Garland and Dakota Wade there to his outside. Actually, it's the 2 ride of Corey Crowell, and then we see the number 54, which is in the wrong paint. No, it's the 88 ride there, Dakota Wade and Ryan Anderson in the 44, rounding out our top 10. Then we see Byron Barton, Grant Humphrey, Evan Uqua, Brian Heeden, Rob Tuisku, James Garland, Michael Wolf, Mark Belair, Joshua Benton, Mike Killingback, Daryl Whitford, Casey Gross, Edward Belair, Brandon Puffenbarger, Chris Muse, Gary Wright, James Garland, and Lance Brantlinger bringing up the rear of the field in the 29 ride. It's fitting the 29 machine at the back of the pack to start this race is for Lance Brantlinger. He is in the 29 car in the 29th position, but he's going to gain a few spots as they cut the dog leg down the back straightaway. Everyone's trying to work their way forward, but out in front early on, leading our first lap of the day, is this number 71 rider, Jameson Heath. Heath looking like he's got a bit of a hot rod here this evening as look out, contact back behind him. Oh, baby, Rob Lowell sends it in there deep, makes some pretty solid contact there as the G-Stone ride got up and into that Wolfpack Racing number 6 ride of Johnny Barker. Hopefully not too much damage there for either of those drivers. And on the opening laps there, we did see the 77 of Casey Gross run into some issues here. See if we can go back and take a look, see what may have happened here to that car, because obviously there was some pretty good contact, and for Casey lost a ton of positions out there on the speedway. Let's see if we can play this backwards. Let's see if we take a look here as he comes out of core number 4. It's a big run, and the car just pushes up the racetrack, pushes up the track. He's got to get on the binders right there, and luckily enough for Casey, able to avoid any major contact or issues in that Quantum Motorsports ride. But man, oh man, did he ever come in with a big head of momentum, and this thing just whoop right up the track. Luckily enough, able to save it there, not putting himself into the fence or getting ran over by any of those other drivers. So a great break there for him as he's got Gary Wright right there with him, Wayne Garland back there, as well as I believe that is the green machine of Chris Muse, the Muscle Up Poodles ride, trying to work his way forward here. Unfortunately for Muse, started deep in the pack. You can already see a little bit of rear end damage on that Muscle Up Poodles number 3 machine. So it looks like someone's gotten into the back end of his ride there off the initial start. So unfortunately, that will set him backwards. But out in front, it is Jameson Heath who's got control of this race. He is looking very, very good here to start today's racing action. But right there, up and into second already. Newcomer to the series here. It is the 80 ride of Dakota Wade. Wade up and into second here. He's up 7 positions from the drop of the green flag. He's been moving forward, but you gotta wonder here for some of these drivers, when we look back here at, you know, Colton Manich even, or Tyler Humphrey, Johnny Barker, Rob Lowell, some of these guys are gonna be taking a little bit easier on the tires, knowing that this is still a long stage, a lot of laps, a lot of time to work your way to the front of the field here, and to try to put yourself into a winning position out there on the racetrack. So I think for a lot of these these drivers, that is going to be the key to success here, is going to be the longevity of your race car. And there's some of these cats like Dakota Wade who may have been more aggressive moving forward through the field early on in this feature event. Unfortunately, will start to feel and reap the consequences of that early run. Yes, he's gained some good track position, but as the tire wear continues to take effect, he's going to continue to fall more and more off the pace. It's going to allow these drivers to get back around him and potentially may see him fall deeper into the field. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out there for Dakota Wade. Is Heath out in front? He absolutely loves to see it. He's got almost a second now between himself and Dakota Wade, knowing that, hey, you know what, maybe he's got a little bit something left in the tank here. Maybe he's got a little bit better car right now than some of these drivers back behind him, because he can really start to play this gap that's between him and the second place driver, where he can kind of hang back, maybe not be too aggressive here, try to save a little bit of tire here, try to give himself some life later in the run, as we're down 9 laps already here to start this feature event. 9 laps already clicked off the board. They're going to continue to click them off in a quick hurry here this evening as well. Roll towards the end of our first stage of the day here rather soon for a lot of these drivers. It's going to get through here. We're going to see this stage break come in a quick hurry, as it is going to be at the completion of lap number 40. So stage 1 is at the completion of lap number 40. Stage number 2 is completed at the end of lap number 80. So 40 and 80 are our stage breaks here this evening, and that's going to give these drivers, you know, a really good look and a really good feel on how the rest of this race is going to play out, because you can kind of tell, you know, where your fuel is going to go, how much you can save, how much you are willing to save here late in this race, because you may want to make sure that you make that final, you know, stage potentially only one pit stop here. With it being 40 and 40, you're probably going to look to try to come back down pit road somewhere around lap 120 to 125. Give yourself another 40 lap run to the end. But if the tire wear does really start to take effect, if it really does start to affect your car, we may see few drivers trying to maybe make it a 2-stop, you know, strategy there later in this race, trying to use the fresher tires maybe to their advantage to try to leapfrog some drivers, try to put themselves into a better position later on here this evening. But for right now, it's all Jamison Heath as Heath continues to lead the way. Dakota Wade back there in that second position, as we'll take a quick word in here from our crew chief here this afternoon. So a little crew chief breakdown for us here in the Must Love Poodles 250, as located in Avondale, Arizona. Track length 1 mile long. Pit road speed, I do believe, what does that say, 45 miles per hour. Our stages are broken down there, and you can see that fuel distance, 35 to 40 laps. Now, 40 laps may be a full tank here. You may be able to save a little bit more. It'll be interesting to see which drivers may have that in their back pocket, may have that skill unlocked here to try to stretch it out, maybe save that extra 2.5 laps or better, where you only have to make that one pit stop late in this race. And that is going to be potentially the key to success here this evening, and not having to make that later second pit stop here in that final stage. But for right now, it is Heath out in front, but Heath has been getting up into that outside fence a couple times out of corner number 4, and for Dakota Wade, he is reeling him in. Wade is right there in that second position. I thought we'd start to see maybe a little bit of tire fall off here on that 80 ride, but man, he is still, you know, putting together some really good lap times, and he is reeling in our race leader. And for Jamison Heath, may see a newcomer to the series jump in front of him here and potentially take control of this feature event, as Manage back in position number 3 with Tyler Humphrey and the Must Love Poodles. Number 9 ride back there in that 4th position. Johnny Barker there in 5th with Rob Lowell, Corey Crowell, Devin Black, Jonathan Byram in that 54 ride. Now into 9th, and it's Anthony Garland rounding out our top 10 in that Poor Boy Motorsports Peacemaker Gaming Outcast Racing League number 81 machine. Rob Tuwisku and his RT3 Designs number 8 machine right there with him here, as Tuwisku's trying to work his way forward as he's up into the 11th position, has gained 6 spots from the drop of the green flag. Brian Heeden also up about 3 spots here. Moving forward, Grant Humphrey's back there in position number 13, right where he started in that Isabel's Impact Must Love Poodles number 48 ride, with Ryan Anderson in the 7-Eleven Slurpee machine there in position number 14. Michael Wolf rounding out our top 15 here on the Speedway. Wolf looking really nice here this afternoon. Solid run so far in that 15th position as Brandon Puffenbarger, who is one of our hard chargers out there on the racetrack early on this evening. Puffenbarger's up 9 spots from where he started. So already moving forward, started back in 25th, now into position number 16, and he's looking for another spot if he can find his way around that 10 machine of Michael Wolf or the 48 of Grant Humphrey. Just here in front of him is Joshua Benton in tow with Nicholas Barton there in that Shaw Landscaping 22 ride back in 18th. Lance Brantlinger, great to see Lance back here in the series, and back out there on the racetrack is his GM Goodwrench number 29. Rolls in that 19th position on the racetrack with Edward Belair rounding out our top 20. Casey Gross, great recovery there, great comeback for the number 77 ride after his early slip up and mishap down and out of corner number 4 for the 77. Back up into the 21st position as Mark Belair there in 22nd. Evan Fuqua there in position number 23 as Wayne Garland there to his outside. And then we do see Mike Killingbeck, the number 3 machine of Chris Muse back there in position number 26. Daryl Whitford there in 27th. James Garland and the number 16 of Gary Wright bringing up the rear of the field. But early on here, it's still all Jamison Heath as Heath out in front, continuing to lead the way, continuing to show these drivers that he is the car to beat here this evening. And if you guys are enjoying the racing action here this evening, make sure you guys do us a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button for us. Hit that sub button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Drop a like on the stream and jump into the comment section. Let us know what you think of the broadcast, and let us know who you're cheering for, who you want to see up and in the winner's circle here at Phoenix Raceway in just a little bit as Heath continues to show these drivers how to get it done with Dakota Wade back in position number 2. I'm actually quite surprised, man. Wade moved through the field rather quickly. You gotta wonder if that tire fall off will start to affect him here the last couple times around. He has been, one of the slower cars out of our top 7 out there on the racetrack. So if that continues, if that trend continues to progress, it could send this 80 ride a little deeper in the pack here. But for right now, this strategy seems like it's playing out nicely for him as we do see Tyler Humphrey down low, gonna look to make the move here on the 0-0 of Colton Manich for that 3rd spot on the Speedway. And for the Must Love Poodles number 9 ride, Humphrey does jump up and he steals position number 3 away from Colton Manich. Manich actually slides back now into that 5th position as Johnny Barker is able to work the Wolfpack Racing number 6 machine up and into that 4th spot on the Speedway as well. Great run, great drive there for Johnny Barker, as well as here he comes. He may not be done yet. He wants to get this Wolfpack Racing ride up and into the podium as these drivers know that the pay window is starting to open here. For a lot of these cats, it's do or die out there on the racetrack, and it's big decision times on what these drivers want to do, whether or not they want to pit prior to the stage break, or if they have enough fuel that they can make it to the stage break. And I think that is going to be a big thing in the back of the minds here for a lot of these drivers. I think they're going to be real tight on fuel. They're going to have to complete lap number 40 and then probably roll for at least another lap to 2 laps out there on the racetrack before they can get down pit side. Now, you can do a lot of coasting. You can kind of, be patient and save a little bit of fuel there. That may be enough to get you to the end. But if you're super tight on fuel and you get to lap 40, you run out of fuel, there may not be any help for you. You may go a lap or 2 down trying to just coast down pit road, and unfortunately for a lot of these drivers, that could be a very true aspect of this race. But out in front, it's Jamison Heath who continues to lead the way here. You just gotta wonder on how much fuel has he been saving, as you do see Tyler Humphrey now up and into 2nd, and oh, baby, I believe we're going to see our first caution flag of the day. Our first yellow flag will come out, and this is going to make things very interesting because this is going to be a yellow flag just prior to our stage break, and this is going to give us probably about an 8 or 9 lap 8 or 9 lap kind of shootout here to the end of the first stage of the day. So now it's decision times here for a lot of these drivers. You come down pit road, maybe put tires on early and hope that you can race your way up towards the front and get some good stage points, or do you just kind of roll with it, maybe keep that track position, hope that you can hang on and put yourself into a good spot here. But let's take a look back and see what brings out our first caution flag of the day. As it looks like the Pennzoil number 69 ride of Joshua Benton going to run into some issues right here. As there it is. Okay, so he shoots it into corner number 3 pretty low, and I think he gets super tight here to the infield fence here. He may even get a piece of it. He's really tight, and I think he realizes that he may get into it, so he rolls out the throttle. He washes up the racetrack to avoid that wall. It opens up the inside here, and the 29 of Lance Brantlinger tries to take advantage of it, tries to squeeze down there and around him, and unfortunately gets into that left rear quarter panel, gets him sideways on the racetrack, and I think as he's checked up, there's going to be a lot of other drivers that are going to end up kind of getting into it right here. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going to see, I believe it's the 22 and Nicholas Barton. Barton gets into this 69 ride right here at a corner number 4, right there, and then boom, up and into the fence for Barton, and then here comes the 75 and the 77 as Casey Gross gets a big piece here of that 69 ride as well. Man, Casey, that is a tough break there for the 77, last season's champion, man. Just kind of rolls out at corner number 4 here, and on the throttle, unfortunately could not get checked up in time, could not avoid the 69 ride, slams into him, really heavy front end damage, and then here comes that FFA.org number 75, who gets into the back end of Casey Gross, giving even more damage and more carnage there, not only to the 69, but to the 77, and now some heavy front-end damage for the 75 of Buquat, as well as Evan. Just kind of nowhere for him to go there in that one, as Must Love Poodles says hoping to see a Must Love Poodles car in the winner's circle today, cheering on all of the Must Love Poodles rides here this evening, as the Must Love Poodles 250, man, already putting together a great show and a great race for all the fans in the stands to enjoy here this evening. And if you guys are still tuning in, you guys are still watching and enjoying, make sure you hit the like button right now on the broadcast, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing for what will be a 9-lap shootout to the end of stage number 1. So you guys are going to want to hold on to your hats, because it is about to be a show. And here we go. It's down through corner number 3. And out of corner number 4, they'll hit that O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone. And here we go, back to Green Flag Racing here at Phoenix Raceway, as Jamison Heath with a great restart. This was the launch that he needed, but here comes Humphrey quickly down to his inside, looking to try to stay right tight to that left rear quarter panel of the 71, and looking at a drag race down and out of corner number 2. And for the 9 of Humphrey, he is there. Can Tyler jump up and steal our first stage win of the day, as Holly Garland in the chat? How are you, Holly? Holly coming in, showing the love with the wave in the chat. We appreciate that, Holly, showing the love here in this one. But Heath able to hold off the charge right there from Tyler Humphrey. So now it's all about, can Humphrey get back to him? What does Johnny Barker have left in his tank? And that 0-0 of Colton Manich. Manich was falling back there. You're going to wonder if maybe it was just potentially running out of fuel for the 0-0 ride. Had to save a little bit more to get to the end of this stage. That caution flag would definitely give him the marker that he needs, and that could give him a little bit better tire here later in this run. So we'll have to see if he can try to battle his way up to the 6 of Barker and into the hunt here for our first stage win of the day. As out in front, it's Jamison Heath. Heath continues to lead the way here. Heath is out in front. He's got that Chipotle 71 ride hooked up, looking stout out there on the speedway, and trying to win our first stage of the day. Is down across the line. 34 laps completed here. Only 6 laps left to go here in stage number 1. Humphrey, I thought Tyler was going to have something for him there. He was tracking down the 71 prior to that caution flag, but it seems like after that yellow, it has kind of just slowed things down a little bit, and all of a sudden, we see another caution flag fly. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Another yellow flag. Cautions breeding cautions, and this time I believe a few drivers back here deeper in the field gonna get tied up here in this one. One of those being James Garland there, 3-4 wide, and unfortunately, oh, big hits! Upside down goes the 10 ride of Michael Wolf. Wolf upside down. Oh my gosh, what in the world did we just see? This is the Phoenix Raceway that we have grown to know and love here. This dogleg on these restarts creates such craziness out there on the racetrack, and here they are, 4 wide down into corner number 1, and it looks like for the 37 ride of Garland, he's trying to come down more towards that yellow line, and for the 77 of James Garland, or not of James Garland, of Casey Gross, he comes up the track maybe just a little bit there, trying to stay above the yellow line. Unfortunately, they just run out of room, and they all wash up into that outside fence, and unfortunately, for a lot of these drivers, nowhere for them to go. You see Barton get some good damage into it, nowhere to go for killing back the 10 ride upside down, as you see Joshua Benton gets into it. Here comes Wayne Garland. He's going to drive into the side of the 37 ride. Gary Wright gets a piece of it as well, and there is a lot of drivers just absolutely tore up, but no one getting it worse than Michael Wolf here, and I do believe Brian Heeden also gets a piece of this one as well. As here we go, here's the contact up and into the fence, and boy, oh boy, this is not a fun ride for this 10 ride. As boom, there's another big hit as the 11 ride gets clipped. Mark Belair gets clipped and shoves the progressive number 11 up the racetrack, and he finds the already upside down number 10 car. My gosh, your luck can't get any worse here if you're the 10 machine. As here we go, on and looking here on the progressive Toyota right here, gets clipped, just loses that rear end there after the contact. Looks like a broken toe link there as well for the 11 ride, and that puts him up and in to that 10 machine. We're gonna have to go back and jump on board here with that 10 ride, because boy, that was a crazy ride for him, man. A heartbreaker, having a good run, having a good race, and battling up inside our top 20, top 15 throughout this one. And unfortunately for Wolf, gonna have a rough go here in this one down into corner number 1. So here we go. Ooh, oh baby, hang on to her. Oh, this is a sight you never want to see. Here comes that other hit, and oh man, barrel rolls, finally lands back onto all 4, but this car is absolutely toast. Take a look at it, man. It is absolutely tore apart, and that's going to put him down pit side here for an extended period of time, trying to get that car repaired and back out there onto the racetrack, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. As Jamison Heath out in front, going to get ready for a restart here, and again, this is going to be a short run, a short distance, only a 2-lap shootout until we complete our first stage of the day. As Heath, another great launch, great restart there for him. Tyler Humphrey, not the best restart of that must-love Poodles number 9 ride, but he's looking to try to get wound up on the outside lane, hoping that he can get a good run back down the back straightaway and into corner number 3 here to try to draw back into the back bumper of the 71 ride as they head down into 3 and out of 4 across the line. This will be our final lap here of stage number 1, and for Jamison Heath, he's been out in front. He has been that reflection of perfection, and he may get blessed with a caution flag. So the yellow flag will come back out, and I do believe, I don't see anyone having issues, but I'm not sure if potentially more problems out there on the racetrack for some of these drivers. I don't know if anyone went around here. I don't really see anyone turned around or having a problem, so I believe they called that the stage break right there, but I do believe that was actually a lap early, but nonetheless, we'll see these drivers all get an opportunity now to finally head down pit road, so we'll have to wait and see who's going to be the tankers and who's going to be the fakers here. We did see obviously a lot of drivers the last couple caution flags make their way down pit side, obviously needing that fuel and needing those repairs. They all come down pit road, so basically our top 14 right now all have yet to come down pit side. we could see a few drivers maybe risking it for the brisket if they were down pit side on lap 36. Maybe they were able to save a little bit of fuel throughout that, and it looks like we're going to take at least one driver who's going to pull the trigger, and it's the 81 of Anthony Garland. Anthony is the only one that stays out here, does not come down pit side. He'll keep on rolling and strolling out there on the racetrack. It looks like potentially Nicholas Barton going to join him here. Mark Belair as well in the progressive number 11, also going to stay out on the racetrack. Wayne Garland, Joshua Benton, they're looking for lucky dogs or wave arounds, trying to get back on the lead lap here. And unfortunately, I believe for Casey Gross, Brian Heaton, and Michael Wolf are all pretty much down and out of this race. I believe for Brian Heaton and Casey Gross, they've taken their cars in both off the racetrack, back down behind pit wall, and potentially out of this race for the night. Michael Wolf is down pit side, has a ton of damage on that 10 car. I'm not sure if he'll be able to rejoin us here later on this evening, but for the most part, for all these drivers, that was a golden opportunity right there to try to flip this stage. And for Anthony Garland, he's going to come out of it with the race lead. So maybe that track position will keep this Poor Boy Motorsports 81 ride out in front, as we're going to get a quick word in here from our sponsors over at Must Love Poodles.
Who are we? We are Must Love Poodles. Where poodles aren't just dogs, they're family. We are a very small in-home breeder of AKC miniature and small standard poodles, where our motto is quality over quantity. Where every litter is thoughtfully and intentionally bred, and we know that the best puppies come from great parents. And that's why we test every single parent dog for all genetic and orthopedic related issues. But we don't stop there. We also take our dogs to AKC events and make sure they get titles to prove that they have great temperaments. Every puppy is hand-raised in our home and well socialized. We also utilize puppy curriculum and early training methods, which make our puppies a snap to train. They're very eager and human-focused. Every puppy is also temperament tested, which helps us match the puppy to the right home. At Must Love Poodles, we can't promise you the perfect puppy, but we do promise that we will do our very best to prepare your puppy for its future. If you're looking to add a smart, sociable, and highly trainable dog, and you want a breeder that will be there for you before, during, and after, come on over to www.mustlovepoodles.com or follow us on our Facebook page. We'll see you there.
Alrighty, shout out there to Must Love Poodles being our sponsor here this evening for the Must Love Poodles 250 here from Phoenix Raceways. We are quickly back to Green Flag Racing, and on that restart, Garland able to hold on to the top spot, but it does not last long as some of those fresh tires from back there behind him quickly racing their way through the three drivers that stayed out during those last pit stops, and quickly it's Tyler Humphrey who will take advantage of it and work his way up and into the race lead. So the Must Love Poodles number 9 of Tyler Humphrey now out in front. He leads the way here in this one as Colton Manage back in that second position now on the speedway. Anthony Garland falls into third here as he's got Chris Muse in the Must Love Poodles number 3 machine now up and into that fourth position. Our early race leader and the driver that won our first stage of the day in the Chipotle number 71 of Jamison Heath. He's looking to make a big move down low, looking to make almost 3 or 4 passes down through 1 and 2. Unfortunately, not going to get the drive that he's looking for out of corner number 2. And he's going to stay door to door, though, with that 3 of Chris Muse. And for Heath, showing some muscle again out there on the racetrack as he quickly races his way back up into second there, but gets into the outside fence, and man, that may kill his car if he keeps doing that. That's going to unfortunately put him into a tough position, but it looks like he has got the speed in that 71 ride, and he's not afraid to use it and abuse it here as he jumps up, takes that top spot back away from Tyler Humphrey. Tyler will slide back into second as the 71 ride out in front, and now you got to start to wonder again, is it tires that these drivers are trying to save? Is it fuel that's potentially in the back of their mind, knowing that they may have to save a little bit of fuel here to try to get get to the end of this next stage. If we don't get a couple caution flags, it is going to be very, very tight for fuel. And if you're too hard, too strong, too quick out there on the racetrack early on, it may kill your speed, it may kill your momentum and your opportunity to potentially try and run this stage clean and green until, you know, you have to make that pit stop. And if you're a lap or two short, it can put you a couple laps down out there on the racetrack and behind the 8 ball in a quick hurry. So for Heath, he's going to have to be careful, but right there behind him, the 6 rider, Johnny Barker, jumps up into that second position. Lance Brantlinger in the 29 ride, now into that 3rd spot on the speedway. Robert Tuiscu now into position number 4 and continuing to look for more. It's Chris Muse into 5th, and Tyler Humphrey all of a sudden slides back into about that 6th position on the racetrack as Anthony Garland battling back down to his inside. Nicholas Barton's there in 8th as Grant Humphrey rounding out our top 9, and rounding out our top 10 is James Garland as, man, this has really flipped the stage here a lot. You see Colton Manich falling backwards a lot. Corey Crowell's all the way back in 16th. Dakota Wade's falling back into 17th on the racetrack, man. A lot of our front runners all of a sudden falling deeper and deeper in the field here. And it's got to really start to wonder if maybe they did not take tires during that pit stop. We may have to go back and take a look, because for a lot of these drivers, you know, you look at the 71 at Heath, he was able to get a great stop in, but he was quite a ways back there behind these guys, so we lost a few spots. You got to wonder if potentially some of these drivers may have pulled the trigger here on maybe trying to make this a one-stop race. Let's see if we can play this ahead a little bit. And, you know, one-stop race, but maybe no tires here, trying to save an extra set for late in this race. So as you take a look here at Jamison Heath, he's going to come into his pit stall here in a quick hurry. We'll quickly see if the 71 ride does get tires, and for the car beside him and behind him, the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey, what is the call here? So they head down into their pit stalls here during that stage break. The 6 ride is there with them. You see tires going on the 71 and the 6 ride. The 21 gets tires, but no tires on the 9 machine of Tyler Humphrey. So it was fuel only for him. Looks like fuel only for the number 00 Colton Manich, and for a lot of these other drivers taking that gamble as well. So going with a you know, no tire pit stop right there in our first stage. Now they're going to potentially give up some stage points here in stage number 2, but that extra set of tires back behind pit wall could be a winning move late in this race. If you've still got them in your back pocket, if you can use those tires to your advantage, could potentially put you into a bit of a winning situation late in this race if you get a couple timely caution flags. And for Jamison Heath, he's out front. He put the tires on. He's using them to his advantage right now. But he's still got the 6 rider, Johnny Barker, right there with him. Barker is not letting him run away with it, keeping him honest out there on the racetrack as they head down through corner 1 and out of corner number 2. As all these drivers continue to battle, continue to have some fun out there on the racetrack. We did see Wayne Garland, unfortunately here, he was a lap down. He tried to stay out there. He had battled his way in front of our race leaders, trying to potentially get a quick caution flag and get a lap back there for free. Unfortunately, no caution flag did not help out the 84 ride. He's fallen back a lap down here again on the speedway. Now, I do believe for the 69, Joshua Benton. Benton is still on the lead lap, but you can see there is still a lot of damage here on this Pennzoil Chevrolet of the 69 ride. So he's going to want a few more yellows. He's going to want some opportunities to try to get this damage repaired. And I feel there's a few other drivers back there that are going to be feeling the exact same way. As we do see Evan Fuqua trying to work his way a little closer to the front here as the FFA ride rolls back in that 23rd position, trying to gain a few more spots here late in this stage. And he may get a couple of them because we're seeing drivers like Colton Manich, who took no tires there, continue to fall back more and more out there on the racetrack. Same with Dakota Wade, Corey Crowell back in 17th, and unfortunately for a lot of these guys just not being able to hang on to those positions as much as they would like. And for the 9 of Tyler Humphrey, for right now, man, he's looking pretty good. He didn't take any tires there, and he's holding strong in that 7th position. He's one of the few drivers that did not take tires during that stage break, and so far I mean, his car is looking pretty stout in it, man. He's not really falling too far back, so this may work out nicely for the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey. They're trying to maybe still steal a little bit of stage points out there on the speedway. But for Jamison Heath, Heath continues to lead the charge. The 71 ride out in front has the Chipotle Mexican Grill number 71 ride out in front and feeling very spicy here at the front of the pack. And so far, he has led the most laps in this race. As down across the line, he'll click off lap number 59. He led all the first 40 laps of this feature event, and then after making that pit stop, had fallen back a few spots. Took him about, I would say, 8 or 9 laps to get back out in front, so he's led about 50 laps so far here this evening, and if he continues on this trend, he may inch closer and closer to potentially locking down the most laps led here this evening as Heath out in front, looking very strong, but Johnny Barker sticking right there with them. Brantlinger's back in third, Rob Wisku in position number 4, and then we see Anthony Garland, Barton, Byram's now up and into 7th here as he's worked his way around that number 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey, so Humphrey's fallen back into 8th. That's where we see Rob Lowell and James Garland rounding up the top 10. Chris Muse there in 11th in his must-love Poodles number 3 machine. Then we see Mike Killingback and Grant Humphrey right there as well in these battles, continuing to duke it out here on the speedway. And for a lot of these drivers, the fights, the battles out here on the racetrack are going to continue to heat up lap after lap after lap. We're going to continue to see more and more drivers inch, closer to their back bumper, and for some of these drivers that may have used those fresh tires up already, that may have already used up one set down pit side during that first stage break of the day, how much does that affect your race? When it comes to later on in this race, if you potentially did not have any extra tires back behind pit wall, we get a late race yellow flag, and 10 drivers, 15 drivers have an extra set back there. You are going to be at a huge disadvantage as you can see the tire fall off, even for the new drivers out there on the racetrack. When you look at Jamison Heath with the new tires out in front here, running a 27-27 last time around. In the last 3 drivers at the front of the field all ran 27-27s out there on the racetrack. Not a long time that not very often we've seen that. All 3 of our top 3 drivers ran the exact same lap times last time around the speedway, but they're about 1 second off the pace here, and they have only ran half a stint here. They've only been green flag racing for about 20 laps, maybe 21 laps here since we saw that green flag come back out. So over that 20 to 21 lap run, you've lost a second of tire fall off. It's going to continue to get worse, and you can see that for the drivers that have not taken tires yet this afternoon, as Tyler Humphrey, he's running 27.79s. You look a little farther back behind him, you take a look at Grant Humphrey, who's running in the 22-second bracket. Chris Muse is in that 28-second bracket, and a few more of these drivers like Corey Crowell just ran a 28.52. Manich ran a 28.10, a 28.11 for Evan Fuqua back there. And for a lot of these drivers, man, that are on that different tire strategy, they're just trying to hang on. They're just trying to hope for the best here, trying to keep themselves out of any more chaos or carnage out there on the racetrack, and obviously just waiting for this stage to come here where they can get down pit side, throw a new set of tires onto their race cars, and hope that they can use it to their advantage in this final stage of the day. And now their hope is that things just stay clean and green, or maybe for the drivers that have already used up that extra set, if their tires, if they have to kind of roll the same strategy, whether it's at the end of this stage that they don't take any tires for these guys out in front and then they fall back there early on in our final stage, or potentially in that middle pit stop if they don't have an extra set of tires back behind pit wall, maybe that will be the difference maker where these guys that are back there can work their way up to the front. As we do see the caution flag come back out, so our first yellow flag here in stage number 2 is Randall Barton says, "Let's go number 22, cheering on Mr. Nicholas Barton out there on the speedway." Nicholas right now has that Shaw Landscaping ride up inside the top 10, looking for some stage points here this evening. As you do see the 5 rider Brandon Puffenbarger turned around. Unfortunately, looks like he's got some pretty good damage here as well. Let's take a look and see what happens to that ride's Toyota, as Puffenbarger obviously on the older tire strategy here, had fallen back deep in the field. He's got the 10 ride down to his inside, and there's a little contact right there. So unfortunately for the 10 of Michael Wolf, who is about 20 laps down out there on the racetrack. That seems fitting. About 20 laps down, maybe 22 laps down. Kind of just sends it in here underneath of him. Has got much fresher tires than the 5 ride. About 60 lap better tires than the 5 machine, and comes in with a big head of steam. I don't think Puffinbarger really realized he was going to be there that quick, but left quite a bit of room down low. The 10 just kind of gets up into him, makes that contact, and all of a sudden the MVP roofing, number 5 right hard up the speedway, hard contact into that outside fence, and this car is absolutely toast. Finally comes to a stop there. That's where the caution flag comes out, and unfortunately for Puffinbarger, this may keep him down pit side now for an extended period of time. As let's take a look here, see what happens. So this is riding on board with Puffinbarger as he shoots it down into corner number 3, and then here's the contact. Gets loose, tries to counter steer, and it snap hooks up the racetrack into that outside fence, and you can hear that hit, how big it was and how much it just destroyed that 5 ride. And unfortunately, he's got to tow that thing down pit side and off the speedway, and that may end his day here this evening. So a heartbreaker there for Brandon Puffinbarger, but man, this is going to make things interesting, as we did see quite a few drivers come down pit side. I think everyone except for our top 14 all came down pit road. So our top 14 here are all now going to be on much older tires out there on the racetrack. And for Tyler Humphrey, he's the first driver with fresh tires back in 15th. You'll have Dakota Wade, Grant Humphrey, Edward Belair, Chris Muse, Corey Crowell, Colton Manich. I do believe the 75 of Evan Fuqua, Mark Belair, all going to be kind of on that same strategy. I believe Joshua Benton, he did not come down pit road, but I believe had gotten the lucky dog of sorts to get back on a lead lap. And I do believe Wayne Garland still 1 lap down out on the racetrack, scored back in the 25th position. We'll be looking for another quick caution flag and another wave around back on a lead lap here in this one, as Puffinbarger down pit side. He's going to be down there for a very long time here this evening, as unfortunately for Brian Heaton and for Casey Gross, their nights have already come to a close. For Michael Wolf in that 10 ride, we saw him go upside down a few times there, down through 1 and 2. Unfortunately finds himself about 21, 22 laps down out there on the speedway. But for Jamison Heath, he's been out in front. He's been leading pretty much all the laps here this evening. And for the Chipotle number 71 ride, another great restart, great launch right there for him as they cut the dog leg and head back down into corner number 1, nice and easy out of corner number 2, as they're 2, 3 wide, beating and banging, bouncing off one another back there deeper in the field, and the caution flag will come back out. So cautions, breeding cautions, and another quick one here. Let's take a look and see what happens. I do believe it's the 11 ride of Mark Belair. So Mark Belair, he's down on the apron here, so he cuts the dog leg. The 69 ride also cuts the dog leg, works to his outside, and then as they kind of come back up the racetrack, the 69 ride of Joshua Benton just kind of clips him right here. Let's take a look from Benton's perspective, because he definitely gets a big piece of this 11 ride, and unfortunately this is a very heavy heat for the number, a very heavy hit. That number 11 Ryan, I believe he'd already used potentially his quick repair up, but here they come out of the dog leg, back up onto the racetrack. So the 11 Ryan trying to make the corner, so he's coming up the track. 69 is as well, and I think right here the 11 kind of stops coming up, and the 69 ride has room. He can clearly see that the 11 ride's there. Ends up driving right into that right rear quarter panel and kind of just hooks him up the speedway. Shoots the 11 up the racetrack into the 25 ride, and isn't that fitting? The father-son duo find each other out there on the racetrack, and they both end up getting tied up and tore up here in this yellow flag. And unfortunately for Edward Belair, nowhere for him to go. He's up here just trying to keep himself out of the issues, out of the problems here, and unfortunately this one comes from behind as his father, Mark Belair, gets clipped right here, turned up the racetrack into the outside fence and into his own son there for Mark Belair, and the Belair father-son duo Unfortunately, getting tore up right there as we did see the 0-0. Colton managed to make his way back down pit side here. And a lot of these other drivers obviously down pit road trying to get fixed up, trying to get themselves back into the battle. And for Wayne Garland, he's going to say thank you very much to Joshua Benton, as that's going to give him the wave around and put the 84 ride, Wayne Garland, back on the lead lap. So a great break there for Wayne Garland. Unfortunately here for the progressive number 11 rider, Mark Belair. Mark, I do believe, is still on the lead lap as of right now. He's trying to stay in front of our leaders here, trying to keep himself on the lead lap as they head down across the line. He's going to be able to leave pit road here and stay in front of them, but man, there's a lot of damage on this progressive ride. Unfortunately, he's going to have to come back down pit road a whole lot here this evening to try to get this thing back into half-decent racing condition. Looks like that right front tire doesn't even want to get pointed in the right direction. It's kind of cambered out, pointed towards the outside fence here, and that's just going to make cornering really, really tough. He's going to be super slow out on the racetrack, but just trying to keep his hopes and dreams alive here this evening as we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. Is this going to be another short run to the end of stage number 2? Going to be another short drive here, and for all these drivers, this is exactly what they were hoping for when you're looking at Jamison Heath and Lance Brantlinger, Johnny Barker. They still got quite a bit of track here between themselves and the 9-rider Tyler Humphrey here. They're just hoping that over this next 5-lap run, they can keep them back there at base. Here we go, back down through the O'Reilly Auto Parts restart zone, and Jamison Heath sees that green flag get displayed again here this evening. Heath with a great restart, great launch, trying to pull away, trying to pull out in front, and hoping that he can try and run away and pick up his second stage win of the evening. Looking to try to go back-to-back here in these stages because, man, it has been a heck of a show so far and a heck of a race for that 71 ride. Just got to wonder if the strategy and everything else will kind of fall his way and help him out here this evening as he continues to click off these laps. We see Brantlinger right there behind him. Barker's back in third. Anthony Garland's now way into that 4th position, but here comes Tyler Humphrey. Tyler's got the French tires, and he's using them to his advantage here, trying to snag some stage points here in stage number 2 as the Must-Love Poodles, number 9 rider around the outside, going to make easy work there of Anthony Garland. Now he's got his eyes set on our top 3, trying to reel into them in a quick hurry with only 3 laps left to go here in our second stage of the evening. So Jamison Heath out in front. He's got to be feeling A-okay. He can see the 9 right in his rear view mirror, but he knows that he's still going to make a couple passes, and with only a couple laps left to go here in this stage, he knows it's going to take Tyler Humphrey a little bit of time to try to get around those two. He knows that it's going to give him enough that maybe he may not have to stress. He may not have to worry about having the fastest car on the racetrack catch up to his back bumper here before the end of this stage. As last time around, Tyler Humphrey not only laid down the quickest lap of his race, but the quickest lap of the race. No one has ran a quicker lap time here this evening than the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey the last time by the start-finish line. We'll see if he can try to beat it again here as he's already around that 6 machine at Johnny Barker's. We're on to our final lap of stage number 2 here this evening, and he's trying to reel in that 29 of Brantlinger, just can't quite get to him. It's going to be drive off here. That exit speed is really where you make up that extra ground, and right there you can see how quickly he's able to get back on the throttle, how he's able to pull ahead and take that second spot away. But for Heath, he timed everything perfectly, and it plays out for the 71 as he's able to win stage number 1 and stage number 2 here this evening. So Jamison Heath, get the broom because he sweeps our stages here at Phoenix Raceway. So Jamison Heath out in front. Humphrey comes home second again here in our second stage of the day. Brantlinger, Johnny Barker, and Rob Lowell rounding out our top 5 here in our second stage of the evening. Anthony Garland, Rob Tuwisku, Jonathan Byram, James Garland, and Grant Humphrey in the Must-Love Poodles. Isabel's Impact, number 48 ride, rounding out the top 10, all earning stage points here in stage number 2 this afternoon. So with that stage break, now comes the big question marks. Who comes down pit side? What is the strategy call here? I think we're going to see I feel like we're going to see everyone come down pit road. I think if you're Humphrey or any of those guys that had those fresh tires, you still come down pit side. You're probably not going to take tires again, but more than likely you are going to pump up on fuel. Make sure you get this thing stuffed full of fuel, because you know it may be a really tight race and a bit of a fuel strategy race if it stays clean and green in this final stage of the day. As we do see Colton Manich. Looks like Manich is going to stay out here. So Colton looking to leapfrog everybody. And for the 0-0 of Colton Manich, he's going to end up with the race lead. So for Manich, this is a definite interesting one here. He's the only one that did not come back down pit road, so I feel he's made his bet. He knows that either there's going to be more caution flags, more opportunities to head down pit side, make changes, get some work done to his race car, and get that fuel and everything else here later in this race, and not planning on this thing to go clean and green. I think if you're planning on it, or you feel that it may go clean and green, you're down pit road right here. You're getting your car topped up on gas, because you're down pit side on lap number 82. You virtually got to run about 40 and a half laps, or 41 laps, basically, throughout both of these next this next stage. So to get to the end of this one, man, it's definitely going to be very, very interesting. But obviously caution flags have been, fairly aplenty here. Not a ton of yellows, but obviously a good amount so far here this evening, as this is our 6th caution flag of the day, our 2nd for the stage break though. So 4 for issues, 4 for incidents out there on the speedway. So it hasn't been super crazy, and I think for a lot of these drivers, there is still that possibility, there is still that opportunity that we see this day clean and green throughout this final stage of the race. Now, that is a big wish and a big hope out there, but nonetheless, we'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing, as we see Brandon Puffenbarger going to get a wave around right here. Unfortunately for Puffenbarger, he's still a few laps down out there on the speedway. Michael Wolf also going to get a wave here. He's still 21, 22 laps down out on the racetrack here himself. And unfortunately for Brian Heaton and Casey Gross, their nights have come to an early close here today, as we get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. It's Colton Manich and Tyler Humphrey, 1 and 2 out there on the speedway. Grant Humphreys now into 3rd, with Chris Muse in position number 4. So for the Must Love Poodles rides, you got 3 inside our top 4 out there on the racetrack. They know they want to put themselves up and into victory lane here for the Must Love Poodles 250 here this afternoon. And here we go, green flag back out into the air. The control car, the Schenko Custom Diecast Williamsburg Contracting 0-0 ride of Colton Manich. Great launch, great restart there. He's able to hold on to this top position, but look out back behind him. Contact, and around goes the 6. Oh, man, Barker was having such a good run, such a good race here this evening, and oh, man, this one sucks to see, man. That is a heartbreaker for him. Let's take a look back at it, as you saw the 8 as well, Rob Tuwisku getting loose back there, as they were kind of 2-3 wide, but you're going to take a look as the 21 shoots into the middle right here, and they just kind of run out of room, and unfortunately that's exactly what we see behind them. And as they kind of do run out of room, let's see if we get another angle at this one. So here's that BG Graphics number 6 ride. It's right here. Okay, so he gets checked up right here. I think that was one of the big issues for him. So you see him get in a little deeper than the 54 ride. And unfortunately, as he reels to the back bumper of Jonathan Byram, he gets checked up right here. The 21 shoots for the middle. The 6 washes up just a little bit. And through the center here, it's a little bit loose, kind of tail tanks. The 21 has to save it, washes up the racetrack still, bounces back up into that G-Stone Construction. Number 21, Machina Rob Lowell. That puts Lowell and the 6 up into the outside fence. Luckily enough for the 7 ride of Devin Black, he's able to get around him and out of it there without any more carnage or mayhem. But unfortunately here, you do see more drivers getting checked up back here deeper in the back, as well as the 8 ride. That was another one that we'll take a look at here. Is Tuwisku kind of in the same scenario, but I think this one is Anthony Garland getting in a little too deep right here. pushes up the racetrack right there, and as he does, just up into that left rear quarter panel, you see the 8 machine smack that outside fence pretty solidly right there. And then as everything was stacking up, a couple of drivers that find themselves, a lap or two down out there on the racetrack, or a handful of laps down, they end up running into each other. So Puffenbarger sees this one kind of happening. He's getting checked up, and unfortunately Michael Wolf back behind him does not get under the binders quick enough here, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, actually it's the 8 or the 5 ride, just kind of sees the action here and gets onto the binders, and as he does, it locks the tires down, and he gets sideways, goes around, and Enright can't get checked up in time, not expecting Puffenbarger to loop it around right there, and ends up getting into him and helping him go around, and that will bring out another caution flag. So we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing here. So another restart, another opportunity for drivers to try to work themselves forward, and you do see our Stage 1, Stage 2 winner right here, Jamison Heath, up and into that 4th position. What has he got in store for us here throughout this final stage? What does he have up his sleeve? What can he do to try to put himself into victory lane here late in this race? Because we're inching closer and closer to the checkered flag as this one is coming to a close in a quick hurry. And I believe for the admin crew, they want to see these restarts get underway. They know that double file restarts tend to create some mayhem, some carnage out there on the speedway. So they have kind of turned things down, and they have kind of settled things up a little bit here by going to a single file restart again out there on the racetrack. So another single file restart, trying to make sure that these drivers are a-okay and ready to rock and roll here for another restart. As here we go, back to green flag racing as the 0-0 manage says thank you very much. That single file restart allows him to get a great launch, a great jump right there, and he quickly takes advantage of it. A couple car lengths down into corner number 1 as he's looking to keep the Humphreys back there at bay, and Jamison Heath as Heath down through 1 and 2. Gets a 2-for-1 deal, gets around both the Humphreys and works his way right back up into second. But here comes Tyler Humphrey trying to battle back down to his inside. Tyler Humphrey rolling there in that 3rd position. But you take a look at Heath, man, just absolutely blazing fast here this evening. And he's looking to be that reflection of perfection here this evening after winning both of our stages, qualifying in that pole position. The 71 car has been untouchable so far here this evening. We'll have to wait and see if he can work his way back around Colton Manich and back into the race lead here this evening as my boy Kevin Timmy, Bubba in the chat as well. Bubba, I don't know if I already showed you out, brother, but I appreciate you tuning in and showing the love here in this one as he says, let's go, baby. We know Bubba is always cheering on that 3 machine of Chris Muse. Right now, Muse trying to hold on to the 6th position, but Jamison Heath last time around laid the quickest lap of this race down. A 26:13, the quickest lap time by over 1.5 tenths of a second here. Absolutely blazing fast lap time there for Jamison Heath, man. This 71 machine has found something here at Phoenix Raceway, and he is hoping that he can use it to his advantage to win here this evening in our 2nd race of the season. And boy, oh boy, what would it mean here for him to be able to get it done here in this one, to put himself back up in victory lane, and to get it done this early in the season would be absolutely amazing for him. But for right now, still some great racing, some tight battle, and obviously all the way back throughout the field, everyone is trying to inch their way forward, trying to make sure they gain that extra spot or two, trying to put themselves into a really good spot here and a good solid finish here to finish off tonight. And for right now, it has been some good fun, some good racing, and hopefully all these drivers, man, are enjoying some absolutely amazing racing action. But Heath continues to try to reel into the Shenko Custom Diecast Williamsburg Contracting 0-0 rider Colton Manich, and he is there. He is on his back bumper, but he may just be waiting patiently here for his time to strike, his time to make a move and try to steal this top spot away from the 0-0 ride. But for right now, these guys are just clicking the laps off, man. We're inching closer and closer to the checkered flag here this evening, and this has been a good run. Obviously, we saw that one early caution flag here to start this 3rd and final stage of the day, and now that may really open up the window here for a lot of these other drivers. When you look at Heath and Humphrey and pretty much everybody except for the 0-0 of Colton Manich, that they may be able to make it here on only one more pit stop here throughout this feature event. If they only have to make one more stop, that could really put them into a winning situation here late in this race. But for Colton Manich, man, he's going to have to see these caution flags fly, and he's going to get lucky as there is another yellow flag as Rob Tuwisku is going to run into some more issues here. The 8 ride, unfortunately, going to get a little tied up here in this one, and oh man, up into that outside fence. Let's take another look back at it. Obviously, had already been dealing with some of that damage here, and again, kind of just battling his way back up towards the front. He's coming out of the dog leg, and it looks like the 80 shoots down the racetrack right here, and I don't think that the 8 ride was expecting him to come down that early, and unfortunately, he does. And man, this is a pretty solid hit for both drivers here. Is nowhere to go for the 80, nowhere to go for the 8 ride. They kind of meet in the middle here as the 80 definitely seems like an early time to start shooting down the racetrack, but nonetheless, 8 ride coming up, 80 ride coming down. As they get tied together, you see Tuwisku trying to save it, overcorrects it. The car starts washing up the racetrack. He locks it down. Unfortunately, though, not quick enough as he slams up into that outside fence. Very solid hit there for him. And as he bounces off the wall, you do see Nicholas Barton gets a piece of him right there. So a little bit of right front damage for the 22 ride as well. So for Barton, that's not very fun. And then, oh man, the Tuwisku tries to make his way down pit road, tries to shoot his way down pit side, and all of a sudden we're going to see the number 20 ride of Daryl Whitford here. Whitford, I think, was expecting the 8 ride to stay up the racetrack, and then Tuwisku's pulling down pit road here. The 20 ride not realizing it, gets in there, gets a piece of him, solid hit there, and obviously for the 8 ride turned around there, bottom side of the racetrack. Caution flag gets displayed, and a couple of big hits out there on the racetrack. And for Tuwisku, a lot more damage. A lot of damage there for the 20 ride as well. So for Daryl Whitford, he'll have to try to get that thing fixed up and back into one decent piece. So we do see Michael Wolf able to get the lucky dog, the wave around here. He only needs about 19 more caution flag. Actually, no, it's even more than that. Oh my gosh, how many more yellows does he need? Yeah, he needs like 20 more yellows to try to get back into this race. Something crazy like that. Needs a lot of caution flags to get back into this one here this evening. Unfortunately, a ways away back there, and unfortunately after that early flip, just set him back here in this race. But trying to learn as much as he can, get as much experience, kind of put it into the notebook for the next time he races here at Phoenix Raceway to see if that will help put him potentially up into victory lane. And now we did see about 6-7 drivers there, 6-7 in the chat, as about 6 or 7 drivers came down pit road, not just for repairs, but we saw Dakota Wade, we saw Devin Black, Gary Wright, Mike Killingbeck, Daryl Whitford obviously down pit road there, Rob Tuwisku was down pit side. We do see Nicholas Barton, though, he's down there. Looks like he may be down for an extended period of time. Has already lost a couple laps here for Mark Belair. He's still down pit road. And Edward Belair also still down pit side. Looks like since lap number 90, Brandon Puffenbarger has been done and out of this race. And I believe Rob Lowell also done and out of this race as well. So we lost quite a few drivers. We started with 29. I do believe we've only got about 22 still rolling out there on the speedway, and we're not done destroying race cars yet here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As here we go back to Green Flag Racing as Colton managed with a big restart in the 0-0, trying to run away with this one. It's nice and easy down into corner number 1 and out of 2. Let's see if everyone can keep them pointed in the right direction as it's 2-3 wide. It's pandemonium back there deeper in the field as everyone is trying to race their way up towards the front. You take a look back here at drivers like Corey Crowell, stuck here in about the 16th, 17th position. Dakota Wade, who was up towards the front of the field early on, he's stuck back here. You look at Anthony Garland. Johnny Barker is, oh, there goes the 81 of Anthony Garland. Garland's around, huge hit there for the Poor Boy Motorsports ride as we just completed lap 100. 65 laps left to go here in this race, but the caution flag comes back out. Another big hit here. Let's take a look. Did he clip the inside fence? What in the world happens here? Does he just lose it coming out of corner number 4? It looks like he's going to get a good run. Oh, and it looks like the 37 right here of James Garland. I don't think James was expecting Anthony to stay on the racing surface, or maybe the 37 was looking to cut the dog leg and didn't realize that the 81 was to his inside. Drives down into him, makes some pretty solid contact there with Anthony Garland, and Anthony trying to save it, trying to correct it. Unfortunately, as the counter steering goes the opposite way, it hooks him up the racetrack and right into the lap here of the 44 ride of Ryan Anderson. Nowhere to go for Mr. Anderson out there on the speedway, and that was a tough break right there for him here in this one, man. That was a huge hit for the 81, huge hit for the 44 ride, and for both drivers, this may keep them back there behind pit wall for an extended period of time. As boom, big hits out there on the racetrack, man. Hopefully these guys are A-okay, but they may be done for the rest of the day. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out for them, as another caution flag, another restart on the horizon for all these drivers, as Tyler Humphrey is out in front here. Tyler Humphrey was somehow able to jump out front and now has control of this race. Colton Manich into second, Jamison Heath back in third, Lance Brantlinger in position number 4 with Grant Humphrey, our top 5 out there on the racetrack, as we'll get ready to set them back loose. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing, as Trish says, where is Kyle, who won stage 1? This is not the real life NASCAR race, ladies and gentlemen. This is even better than the real life racing action. This is the Outcast Racing League. This is iRacing. This is where, you know, the real drivers come to play. Okay, this is the real fun. It's not a real life NASCAR Cup Series race, but man, these drivers give it everything they got, and they put the time, the work in, as much, if not more, than what those NASCAR Cup drivers do, and they can put on just as good of a show, if not most of the time even better than the real life NASCAR guys can. So if you guys are enjoying this racing action, if you guys are liking the broadcast, man, make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button for us, hit that heart button on the side there as well. Jump into the comment section, let us know, you know, if you're a first time viewer, if you're enjoying the iRacing aspect of things, and let us know, you know, if you hit that subscribe button as well. Make sure you guys hit the sub button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and maybe even get in on the fun and join and become part of these iRacing leagues, or part of the Peacemaker communities. We'll be live not only here for this race, we got 2 other races here this afternoon. We go dirt track racing as this one comes to a close, and then we're back here at Phoenix for another league race later on this afternoon. So a lot of racing, a lot of great action here on Peacemaker Gaming for everybody to enjoy, as we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to go back to green flag racing. And again, a lot of drivers did not come down pit road here. You got to go all the way back here, deeper in the pack, to a lot of these drivers. When you look at Gary Wright and Corey Crowell, Darrell Whitford, a lot of these guys just getting damage repaired here and back out onto the racetrack. But a lot of these other drivers electing to stay out. As here we go, back to green flag racing. And oh, baby, huge mistake. Let's play it back here to the restart. I'm not sure what happens, but there was a black flag on the number 71 ride, potentially holding back here on this restart. Maybe lagging back a little too much. Washes up the racetrack right there. You see the big gap between him and the 0-0 Ryan. Maybe trying to get a better launch. It doesn't really help him out, but iRacing did give him a black flag there for a little bit. I do believe that the admin group has waived it for him, so no penalty there, as he didn't really get any benefit from it. I think he was off the throttle and did not get a big jump, because I think he realized that what he was doing was wrong and did not try to take advantage of it. But for right now, trying to take advantage of the rest of the field, it's the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey and the Must Love Poodles. Number 9 machine, who's out in front, now has this lead. And for the Landesco Isabel's Impact, number 9 machine looking to try to run away with this one. He knows that there's some fast cats back there behind him, as the 0-0 of Colton Manich gets up, scrapes the outside fence there on corner number 2, and unfortunately he will fall back into that 3rd position, as Jamison Heath, our pole sitter, our stage sweeper here this evening, the 71 ride, rolls now into that 2nd position. Great run, great drive so far for Jamison Heath, and he's hoping to try to reel back in to that 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey to try to steal this race lead back away from Humphrey here this evening. As Manich trying to hold on to 2nd. He's got Lance Brantlinger right there behind him. Great to see Lance back up there on the racetrack, as the Good Wrench number 29 ride started deep in the field here, all the way back in the 27 9th position. Here he is up inside our top 4 and looking to try to work his way into the top 3 out there on the speedway is Grant Humphrey, man. Beautiful looking ride. We always love seeing this car out on the speedway. The Must Love Poodles, number 48 of Grant Humphrey, rounding out our top 5 is Must Love Poodle teammate Chris Muse right there behind him, but Muse gonna lose that 6th position as the 6th ride of Johnny Barker works his way around him. So Barker back up and into the 6th position for the number 6 machine, and for Chris Muse falls back into 7th. Devin Black, Wayne Garland, and Corey Crowell now rounding out our top 10 out there on the speedway as Dakota Wade, Evan Fuqua, Mike Killingbeck, Jonathan Byram, Gary Wright, Joshua Benton, Rob Tuwisku, James Garland, Daryl Whitford, and Anthony Garland round out our top 20. Nicholas Barton, unfortunately, is a few laps down, scored back in the 21st position. And then Ryan Anderson down pit side. Mark Belair done and out of this race. So isn't Edward Belair. Brandon Puffenbarger, Michael Wolf, I believe, is still racing here. He's still got some damage here on this 10 ride, and unfortunately already being 21 laps down out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, he still scored back here deeper in the pack, but sticking with it, he's earned himself a few more points, a few more positions, and there's still a few more just in front of him here that he may be able to leapfrog. Next one's coming up here in the next couple laps. He may be able to leapfrog Puffenbarger, Edward Belair, Mark Belair here, and work his way up inside the top 23. So we'll have to wait and see if that plays out for Michael Wolf and see if he can at least gain a few more good spots here and at least salvage something out of what has been a tragic day for that 10 ride. But out in front, the battle is on as Tyler Humphrey and Jamison Heath are now duking it out here, man. Heath is reeling him in, and only a few car lengths off his back bumper as the Must Love Poodles number 9 ride will click off lap 113 out there on the speedway. Heath is right there in tow, and for Manich, he's able to hold on to that 3rd spot on the speedway, but man, Brantlinger right there still trying to battle with it. You see Grant Humphrey, and for Johnny Barker, they're battling here as we're going to see the number 6 machine trying to race his way up and into potentially our top 5. He's been on a roll. He's been driving forward here in a quick hurry, and it seems like either he's got some good tires on this 6th rider. He's just been waiting patiently for his time to strike, and here it is. He is moving in a quick hurry, and now underneath of that 48 ride of Grant Humphrey, and move Mr. Barker into our top 5 out there on the racetrack. So Johnny Barker back inside the top 5. Humphrey will fall back into that 6th position on the speedway. But some great racing here, and for Barker, he knows that the 29 ride of Lance Brantlinger not too far from his front bumper. Colton Manich is right there as well. Now he's a little farther back away from our race leaders, but for Tyler Humphrey and Jamison Heath, they're feeling a-okay here out in front. But for a lot of these other drivers, man, the battles are on. Things are continuing to heat up as you see Chris Muse falling back now into about the 9th position. But man, it is a 4-car fight right here behind him, man. A lot of tight racing out there on the speedway, and we're going to be inching closer and closer to potentially our final pit stops of the evening, and it would be really nice to see these drivers have to make some green flag pit stops. I think green flag pit stops would make things very interesting here late in this race when we have to start to see these drivers head down pit road, get some changes, make some changes, try to get their car working in a good order here. And obviously pit road speeding penalties may play a factor in that as well. It's a pretty long pit road, down to 45 miles an hour out there, and for a lot of these drivers, those pit road mistakes could cost you or could potentially, put you into a good position. If other drivers run into the problem, you may be able to leapfrog a lot of drivers and gain a bunch of positions. But if you do make that mistake down pit side, more than likely, if you get that 30-second hold or a pass-through penalty, you're going to be losing a lap or 2 out there on the racetrack, and that's going to set you way behind the 8 ball and potentially taking you out of a chance to try to win or get a good finish here this evening. As Tyler Humphrey continues to lead the way, he's starting to pull away from that number 71 run of Jamison Heath here, as Heath now back about 8-9 tenths of a second from Tyler's back bumper. So for Tyler Humphrey, starting to grow a little bit of a comfortable gap here between himself and the 71 as we inch closer and closer to our potential final pit stops of the evening. I think everyone's probably going to want to come down pit road somewhere around lap 125 here, which is about 6 laps away. So for all these drivers, green flag pit stops on the horizon, and for a lot of these cats, man, it could be a little bit of a nail biter. We can see a lot of drivers biting their nails, knowing that it could get really, really crazy. But there's a lot of drivers still that have made additional pit stops there back on lap 97, lap 102, even some back on lap 86 that are probably going to go a little bit longer, a little bit farther here. Make sure they're good on fuel, and if they need to go into NASCAR overtime, that they'll be A-OK. But the first driver that will have to make a pit stop is that 0-0 of Colton Manich. So Manich was last down pit road on lap number 73. Now he's had a lot of caution laps to save fuel and everything else there, so he's been able to go quite a bit farther, but the 0-0 ride, he may be a couple laps shy on fuel here to the checkered flag this afternoon. We'll have to wait and see if he can save enough and try to get to the checkered flag. If it stays clean and green, it'll be very, very interesting to see what he'll have in store for us. But no mistakes, no penalties or anything there for Colton Manich, so a good, clean pit stop here for the 0-0. We'll hope to see things cycle back through. Hope that maybe it puts him into a good position late in this race, and then hopefully just has just enough fuel to get back to the checkered flag here this evening. But for Tyler Humphrey, he is feeling A-OK. He is feeling very good out in front. He's keeping the driver that has been so far one of the best in the business here this evening, Jamison Heath, back there at bay. Jamison was quickest in qualifying. Jamison won both of our stages here this evening, and for the 71 ride, rolling back there in second, I know he's going to be absolutely hungry here to try to close this gap, get back to Tyler's back bumper, and try to steal this win away from the 9 machine. Is nice and easy down and across the line. They'll complete lap number 124. So 124 laps down, and I think now we're really going to start to see that pit window open for a lot of our front runners. Everyone inside of our top 5, we're all down pit side back on lap number 82. Now, they had some caution laps in there, so you may see them go a few laps longer, just trying to make sure that they can get that extra little bit of fuel in, make sure that they can make it to the end of this race, and if there is NASCAR overtime, then they won't have to worry about at least, one of those overtimes, maybe 2 or 3. They may have to come back down pit road and get fuel, but for right now, I think they're just trying to hit their marks, kind of keep it on cruise control, trying to make sure they're good on fuel here, where they don't have to save really at all throughout that final stage, and can try to set themselves up here for just non-stop good hard racing to finish off this race. And for a lot of these drivers as well, it's scary, man. If you're a driver like Colton Manich, who has come down pit road, has made this green flag pit stop, yes, you are running, a second or better quicker than all the drivers in front of you out there on the racetrack. Same with Jonathan Byram, Darrell Whitford, who we've seen come down pit road now as well, back on lap 119 for those 2 drivers. We see Wayne Garland now pit side here for the 84 machine, but as these drivers come down pit side, the big thing is that a caution flag could potentially put you and trap you a lap or 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, as we do see our second place driver, Jamison Heath, heads down pit side here on lap 127 here. Technically, he'll complete lap 127 down across the start-finish line, and for Jamison Heath, man, this is definitely going to be a close one, and here we go. Tyler Humphrey not going to wait much longer, does not want to give him a huge break or a huge advantage with those fresh tires, so Humphrey next lap around heads down pit side here himself. He'll look to get those fresh tires and fuel into the 9 ride and hope that he can keep himself in front of Jamison Heath and the rest of the field. Dakota Wade's now down pit side in the 80 ride. Great first run here for the 80 machine. Got tied up in one of those issues, but man, he's had a pretty solid day here at the Speedways. Lance Brantley, great to see Lance back in action, and for the 29 ride back down pit road. And so far, everyone that's made these green flag pit stops Been really, really good, man. Everyone has been clean down pit road. No one's made huge mistakes. We haven't seen any big caution flags or anything else be displayed, or obviously no black flags yet either for these drivers down pit side. And now we're getting into that area where there's going to be a lot of drivers that are going to kind of roll out there for a little bit while longer, that may try to catch these guys a lap down or a couple laps down out on the racetrack and try to leapfrog them here late in this race. As we do see Grant Humphrey in the Muscle of Poodles number 48 down pit road. Here comes the Muscle of Poodles number 3, Chris Muse as well, also down pit side here, and things are starting to kind of shake out. And as they start rolling back out there, that one lap earlier pit stop, you gotta wonder if maybe it was a 2-tire stop here for Jamison Heath, because he's out in front by a good chunk here between himself and Tyler Humphrey. It is over 3.5 seconds between him and that 9 ride. So Tyler Humphrey only ran 1 lap longer than Jamison Heath there before making his green flag pit stop, and Heath somehow or another gained 3.5, 4 seconds on Tyler Humphrey, man. I don't know how you'd make that much time down pit road, but we'll have to wait and see if potentially, you know, a little bit of different strategy for Jamison Heath will put him out in front and into the winner's circle. As you see Corey Crowell now is our race leader. He's staying out there. He's not down pit road as of yet, but we do see Johnny Barker, Evan Fuqua now working his way down pit side. We're still waiting for about 4 other drivers to hit pit road here at the front of the field, as Corey Crowell, Rob Tuwisku still rolling out there, but here comes that beautiful number 2 ride as Corey Crowell finally does make his way down pit side. Looks like the 22 and Nicholas Barton will go with him, but I believe it's going to be Rob Tuwisku down and out of corner number 2 and down the back straightaway who will consume that race lead. And for Rob Tuwisku, he's now into the top spot. He leads the way here at Phoenix Raceway, and for the 8 machine, he's going to look to try to keep these guys back there at bay. He's going to try and hope to see, a couple laps here. He was down pit road on lap number 96, so he's got a lot more left in the tank. And right now, if he could catch a caution flag, he would be one of only 8 drivers still on the lead lap out there on the speedway. That would really work to his benefit here, as he would have some good track position. He could have some of the best tires out there on the racetrack and be set up nicely here for late in this race. And I think that is the strategy call here for the 8 of Tuwisku, the 70 ride of Mike Killingbeck, even the 81 ride of Anthony Garland back there in that 3rd position. I think that is kind of the game plan that they have written up here. But for Jamison Heath, still leading Tyler Humphrey. By now, it's actually grown. It is 3.8 seconds between him and Humphrey. So I don't know if Humphrey's just trying to save right now, trying to save some tire, just being patient out there on the speedway, but unfortunately, he's about that entire back straightaway away from the back bumper of the 71 ride. And if things cycle back through, he could be potentially the driver out in front and leading this feature event here and trying to sweep this race. He's been super good, super strong here this evening. Qualified on that pole position, won both stages, and for Heath looking to get it done here with a big checkered flag. It's Tuwisku, Killingbeck still rolling out there. You do see Anthony Garland, who was staying out longer as well. He will see Jamison Heath get around him here, and for the 81 will fall back into the 4th position. But for Anthony, obviously still trying to play that strategy, hoping to see a caution flag, wanting to see that yellow come out, as now there's only 10 drivers on the lead lap, and they're all hoping that they can work themselves into a pretty good position here with the yellow flag. But if they got to make this late race pit stop and unfortunately kind of be down pit road by themselves, they're going to lose not only a lot of time out here on the racetrack doing this strategy, but they're probably going to fall very, very deep in the field. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out here for Rob Tuwisku, Mike Killingbeck, and Anthony Garland out there on the speedway, but they're inching closer and closer to probably having to make their way down pit side here as well. They've probably only got about 4 or 5 laps left of fuel here before they're going to have to come down pit side. So if they can get lucky with the caution flag, they're going to need it right now to try to work themselves back and into the show. But for Tuwisku, man, he's trying to hang on to it. The fresh tires battling around him, making passes on him, racing their way back on the lead lap, man. These are all positions that the 8 ride is more than likely going to lose once he's down pit side. But if he can keep it clean and green, that he could try to battle with these guys and work his way back up towards the front of the field with some fresher tires here. But right now, just trying to bank on that yellow flag. It is not flying, though. It has been stuffed away. Our officials kind of put it away for right now. It's starting to get some dust on it, and unfortunately, the 8 machine, the strategy call just may not play out in his favor here this evening, but it's everyone trying to battle their way back up towards the front here. Everyone trying to race their way back into the action, man. Some great racing, some great fights out there on the speedway. Everyone's trying to slowly but surely battle their way up towards the front. You do see Corey Crowell trying to make his way around that 0-0 of Colton Manage. Manage, unfortunately, had to come down pit road there about 10-12 laps sooner than a lot of these other drivers. And I think for the 0-0 ride of Manage, he realizes right now that he's going to have to probably try to save quite a bit of fuel. If he wants to make it to the end of this race without having to make an additional pit stop here, he's going to need to save some fuel. And in doing so, he's going to have to roll into the throttle, lose probably a lot of track position and a lot of spots out there on the speedway as he quickly see the 6 of Johnny Barker reeling into his back bumper. Grant Humphrey not too far back there as well in that 48 ride as we finally see Rob Tuwisku make his way down pit side while Killingbeck consumes that race lead. As Killingbeck out in front, it won't be for long no matter what. Killingbeck still has to make this additional pit stop, but our race leader, Jameson Heath, right there on his back bumper, and he will cycle back out and he will take over the race lead as he's got about 3 seconds between himself and Tyler Humphrey. So Humphrey is closing back into him. We'll see if that 9 rod can catch up to him here late in this race as we'll jump into a very quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. So late in this race, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here on the speedways. We crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, a beautiful crank it up session giving you the sights and sounds around Phoenix Raceway here this evening. But late in this race, it is still the 71. Jameson Heath out in front, continuing to lead the way, trying to pick up the dub here in the Must Love Poodles 250 here in the Outcast Racing League. There's only 14 laps left to go, and for this number 71 Ryan, he's got a fairly comfortable lead, but he does see the 9 rider Tyler Humphrey slowly but surely close it into his back bumper here. Does Tyler have enough time to track him down? The gap is now about 1.6 seconds out there on the racetrack between Heath and Humphrey here on the speedway. It is down to these two, unless there's a late race caution flag, because they got about 7 seconds here from Humphrey's back bumper to our third place driver, the 29 ride of Lance Brantlinger. They're starting to roll through some heavy lap traffic here, and you do see Corey Crowell and Johnny Barker right there ready to pounce as well, man. These three are tight together, duking it out here late in this race for our third, fourth, and fifth position out there on the racetrack. Grant Humphrey a little farther back there in 6th, with Colton Manich rounding out our top 7. Devin Black, Dakota Wade, and Chris Muse in the Must Love Poodles number 3 ride, rounding out the top 10 here on the racetrack. Rob Tuisku, I believe, is the first driver 1 lap down, scored back in the 11th position. But for Jameson Heath, Heath is out in front. He's feeling A-OK right now as he continues to hold on to this race lead. He's clicking the laps up here as quickly as he can, knowing that he wants to try to just keep this 9 rider Tyler Humphrey back there at bay and play spoiler here to the Must Love Poodles run. But for Tyler Humphrey, I mean, he does have a teammate, Chris Muse, not too far in front of him here. I don't know, man. Does Muse potentially, roll out of it a little bit more, slow down, trying to, mitigate and trying to slow that 71 of Jameson Heath down ever so slightly to where Heath ends up losing a little extra time, allows that 9 of Tyler Humphrey, his teammate, to catch up to the competition here this evening. I mean, that would definitely be a little bit of a risky move. That would definitely be a little bit of a crazy one that could definitely, make Heath a lot mad, and maybe some of these other drivers. So I'm not sure if he'll do it, but I mean, it is definitely a move that we've seen in the past, and definitely something that we could see here in this scenario. But for right now, Jameson Heath, he's feeling pretty good. The gap is still about 1.4 seconds here. Humphrey has not been closing in on him all that quick, and with only 9 laps left to go and back down across the line, it'll be, I believe, 8 laps left here and Phoenix Raceway. Now the big question is, do we see a late race caution flag, and what will that look like? Will we see everyone come down pit road, everyone look to get fuel and tires and everything else, or maybe only a select few have tires left over? Maybe a lot of these other drivers don't have any fresh tires left in their back pocket to use to their advantage, so potentially that could be a play here late in this race, but as of right now, it's been clean and green. I mean, we saw a few yellow flags, a few issues there throughout the start of this third stage, but after basically lap 100, the caution flag we saw there on lap 100, it has been clean and green ever since then. So drivers have gotten things a little bit more figured out, a little bit more at ease, and obviously some pretty good solid green flag laps here late in this race. And Heath is saying thank you for seeing these green flag laps, because it has allowed him to be in a good position late in this race, driving home to what could be a big checkered flag here for that 71 machine, as he's got Humphrey still in tow, trying to reel him in, but the gap is still about 1.5 seconds here between Jameson and Tyler Humphrey out there on the racetrack. Is down and out of corner number 2. He'll take us back down the back straightaway, nice and easy into corner number 3, and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. They'll get the big high five here from our flagman. Only 5 more laps left to go here this evening. 5 more laps left to duke it out here at Phoenix Raceway, and for Jameson Heath, he is looking to put himself up and into victory lane here this evening as Heath down and out of corner number 2 again, man. Holding that 1.3 seconds now between himself and Tyler Humphrey. He does have that 3 ride still just in front of him. Chris Muse rounding out our top 10, trying to stay on the lead lap here, but really, right now, not really much of an aspect to it, but he could be slowing down the 71, dumping some dirty air onto Jameson's front bumper here. That could slowly slow down this 71 ride, but it's not really affecting And because he's still keeping that gap, he is not really giving much up here to Tyler Humphrey. I thought Humphrey would be reeling him in late in this race and close into the back bumper right now of Jamison Heath, but he's quickly running out of time with only 3 laps left to go. I think for Humphrey, if he's going to want to have a chance or an opportunity to try to steal this win away from Jamison Heath, he is going to need that late race caution flag. And it doesn't look like there is one brewing out there on the racetrack. Things are spread out pretty nicely out there on the speedways. The battle back for third. Lance Brantlinger has kind of ran away with it. Johnny Barker is there in fourth. Grant Humphreys worked his way up inside the top 5 as Corey Crowell slides back into 6. Colton Manich there in 7th with Devin Black, Dakota Wade, and Chris Muse rounding out our top 10. But Jamison Heath right there behind him, our race leader, down into corner number 1. You see Humphrey really set it in there deep into quarter number 1 and 2 there. Unfortunately, I think that's going to cost him a little bit of time and did not gain any at all on Heath. And for Jamison Heath, this is what he's been waiting for as he rolls down and out of corner number 4. He will see the white flag fly. So 1 lap left here in the Must Love Poodles 250 from Phoenix Raceway. As Jamison Heath out in front, he has been the reflection of perfection here this evening. He qualified on the pole. He swept our stages. He's led the most laps, and for Jamison Heath, the final time down through 3, nice and easy out of corner number 4. It's Jamison Heath who will pick up the checkered flag here in the Must Love Poodles 250 in the Outcast Racing League. As here comes the Must Love Poodles number 9, Ryder Tyler Humphrey, to congratulate our race winner, man. Valiant effort there for Humphrey, but nobody could catch this 71 run here today, man. Jamison Heath just ran a picture-perfect race, had a ton of speed, a great car all evening long, and he parks this Chipotle Chevrolet up and into victory lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys enjoyed that racing action, if you guys enjoyed the show here this evening, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit the like button on the stream for us right now, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, and turn those bell notifications on because we still have 2 more broadcasts later on this evening, and we'll get ready to pull Heath, Humphrey, and Brantlinger, our top 3, up and into the broadcast booth here for their post-race interviews, man. Post-race interviews coming up next, but first, it's Jamison Heath who gets to celebrate out there on the racetrack here, and man, he is burning down the house. Heath is pumped up. He's excited about this one, man. The young lad is definitely happy getting the job done here this evening, and we'll get ready to pull him up and into the booth here for his post-race interview. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Mr. Heath. Hey, Jamison, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Jamison, man, what a run, what a race, man. Take us back through this one because, man, that had to have been a lot of fun. You were a man on a mission. You were the reflection of perfection all day long, winning that pole position, winning both stages, and here late in this race, able to make, I don't know if you just made a really good pit stop and Humphrey ran into issues, but nonetheless, you come out in front of him, pitting 1 lap earlier by about 4 seconds, and you're able to use that to keep him back there at bay. He's not able to reel back up to you, and you hold him off here as you put this car up and into victory lane. And race number 2 here on the season, brother. Take us back through it, and what's going through your mind?
Yeah, man, it's right from the get-go, the car just felt very comfortable the entire race. It's not too tight, not too loose. And 2.5 years ago, October of 2023, I made my debut here at Phoenix, and I ran pretty good, ran 4th, and just really haven't had much luck here in this league up until now. But, man, these guys have been nothing but amazing to me, and I can't thank them enough.
Yeah, an amazing league, amazing group of guys out there. Obviously, we saw a little bit of carnage out there on the speedway. I mean, that's bound to happen at a racetrack like Phoenix. And, you know, you get to that short track style and still pretty early in the season here for us. So for a lot of these guys, you know, they haven't really ran too many short track races against each other. So different driving styles, everything else can create some fireworks out there on the racetrack. But, man, you were just on your A game here this evening, man. There was a lot of different pitch strategies, a lot of different things that were happening here late in this race, and man, it just all worked into your favor here. And obviously, that late race pit stop worked out perfectly for you, man. Was there a different strategy call there, or did you just gain all that time on Humphrey by making that one lap earlier pit stop, or just quicker down pit road than the 9 ride?
I don't know, honestly. I noticed that Tyler hadn't taken left side tires the entire race. I don't know if he took 4 tires on that final stop, but I took right sides only on that final stop. I don't know what he did, but maybe that was the difference. But when I went by him, saw that 4 second lead, I was kind of in disbelief. I did not think that that would be the outcome of pitting 1 lap earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought for certain we'd see you two maybe a little closer together because you were about, 9/10 a second back behind him prior to those, final pit stops. And I thought for certain that, okay, maybe that 1 lap earlier you'd be a little closer to him, maybe just in front of him. But I was expecting to see a dogfight between the two of you here to close out this race. And it ended up being just you out in front, able to manage that gap and drive away and cruise control here into victory lane.
Yeah.
But man, heck of a show, heck of a race for you here this evening. Jameson, who'd you like to thank for such a great run and great drive, picking up the checkered flag here in the Must Love Poodles 250?
Well, I got to thank the entire league, but definitely, especially Tyler Humphrey and Colton Manich. We had good battles all race, and even in the chaos and the restart after restart, we kept it clean, and we had some good battling throughout the entire race.
Yeah, some great battling, some great fun, and a great finish here in race number 2 of our season. Jameson, congratulations on picking up the dub, man. We can't wait to see you back out on the racetrack and back in the action again next Sunday afternoon, and maybe right back up here and in victory lane.
Yeah, thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Jamison Heath, as Heath picks up the checkered flag and pulls the 71 up and into the Phoenix Raceway victory lane. As we'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, it's the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey. Hey Tyler, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Tyler, man, heck of a run, heck of a drive for you here this afternoon. And, brother, it looked like potentially late in this race that you were going to be in line to, win this race. And all of a sudden it comes down to that final pit stop out on the racetrack. And I'm not sure if it was a 2-tire stop call for Jamison Heath or if you put 4 tires on somewhere down the line, though. He comes out of that pit stop with about a 4-second lead, and he's just able to manage it well here late in this race. Even as you close back into him and draw within, that 1.5 second, he kind of stalled out there and just could not reel him in late in this race. No late race yellow flags to get back to his rear bumper, and unfortunately end up having to settle here for the second place run this afternoon. But brother, take us back through what's going through your mind.
Yeah, I didn't expect to bring this much speed today, I'll be honest. I was like, yeah, I'll be happy with top 5, top 10. I didn't practice all week. It's just been a heck of a week. So I was like, go out here, see what I can do. And I set a really good lap in practice and was like, okay, like that built my confidence. I got into qualifying and almost won pole. Jameson nipped me right there. So we got in the race and I was just going to take it easy for the first little while. Everybody watched me drop back a little bit. I don't think I really got past, maybe drop back to 5th or so, and just held that and just let my tires do its thing throughout that run. We saved a set. We waited all the way to lap 80, second stage, to take our tires. So that was rough there. Just kind of watching guys burn by you, but knowing that you had a disadvantage. So just that patience was really difficult. But in that final stage, I mean, Colton was leading there for a little while. I ended up getting him. I knew I could get around him. And if I could stay in front of Jameson, I knew that was the winning call right there. But I came down the pits and used my extra set of tires thinking, like that's going to be helpful. And really wasn't. I should have taken the 2 rights that I think Jameson took. And maybe it would have been a little bit closer coming out of the pits. 4 seconds. I mean, I saw that and said, no way I'm going to catch him. And I mean, reeling it down to 1.5 seconds, a little under 1.5 seconds. I mean, can't ask for much more than that because that was not much of a run right there to the end to close that sucker out. So a lot of fun right there. A lot of respect for Jameson. He did a great job. He was definitely the car to beat today. So yeah, awesome to see. We had a few cautions, but I felt like we kept it pretty clean. We had some stints where we were able to, run under green, wear those tires out, and see the comers and goers for sure tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Some great, good green flag laps out there. A lot of tight battles, a lot of great racing. And here late in this one, obviously, it comes down to that strategy. And for yourself, you're able to park it up here on the podium in race number 2 of the season in a Must Love Poodles race, in a Must Love Poodles car here this afternoon. It's going to feel good being able to have, the Must Love Poodles name on the side of your ride and in their race, at least being able to park it up on the podium. I know you wanted to pick up the dub and get them in the victory lane here this evening. I'm sure you'll have lots more opportunities to do that throughout the year, but at least you get to come in here and put on a good show, a good race, lead some laps, and still come home with a really solid finish.
Yeah, for sure. It's awesome to have muscle poodles on the side of the car, um, and for them to be the sponsor of this race. It these races are always ones that I mark on my calendar when Muscle Poodles or Landesco or Isabel's Impact sponsors. Those are races I want to win. So to do it for those sponsors, but no matter what, we had this car up front all day, and I'm sure it got plenty of airtime and had some good racing around it. Three Muscle Poodles cars on the track today, so I know they all had their ups and downs, but we all came back. Whole Haptic Performance Racing all finished top 15. So awesome. Great to see Evan Fuquay make his debut today. Really awesome to see all these guys back out there, seeing some new faces and seeing some faces leave the league. It's sad, but it's awesome to see all these new guys out here. So, yeah.
Yeah, always good to see new faces and new places and new competitors to beat and bang and battle with you guys out there on the racetrack. Is another great show and another great race out there on the Speedway. Tyler, is there anyone else you'd like to thank for a great performance out there on the Speedway?
Yeah, my team, Haptic Performance Racing, Evan, Grant, Chris. I mean, they all help tremendously or immensely. It's just really awesome to have those guys, this team we put together in the off season, and it's really working out. I think the data that they're able to send over has really been helpful. So Muscle Poodles, Isabel's Impact, Landesco, the Bar Distillery, Team Chevy, everybody out there. You for broadcasting, the league, all its admins, all its drivers, just everybody that helps put this thing together. So.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Tyler, great run, great race here this evening, man. Congratulations on the second place finish, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the Speedway again next Sunday. Maybe right back up here in the broadcast booth, and maybe one spot better into victory lane yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Last year Vegas was a heartbreak, so right there at the line, I just wasn't able to get him. So maybe we can turn that one spot better and pick up the win. So it was great. I'll see you later.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night, brother.
Thank you. You as well.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Tyler Humphrey, as Humphrey comes home in position number 2. Solid run, solid drive there for that 9 machine, as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, Lance Brantlinger, who started all the way back at the, pretty much the rear of the field here. Started in 27th, finishes this race off in picking up 24 spots on the Speedway, man. Hard charger, top 3 performance. Brantlinger with a golden run here this evening. Let's get Lance up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Lance, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Aaron, how are you, buddy?
Not too bad, Lance, man. Great to see you back out there, back in the action here on the Outcast Racing League. And, brother, you put on a show for us here this afternoon, going from virtually the back of the pack here, up 24 positions to round out our podium here this evening, man. Take us back through it. What's going through your mind as your first race back here in a little while here with the Outcast Racing?
I'll tell you what, this is my first race back on iRacing in over a year and 3 months. So I started. I didn't qualify. I wanted to start in the back. I didn't want to, get in anybody's way until I got comfortable again. And I just ran, within my limits. Tried not to get in anybody's way. And then before you knew it, I was in the top 20. And then after that, I was up in the top 10. was like, well, maybe maybe I'll have a shot at this. But Jameson was too fast for me. I got to him, in restarts and so forth, and he has too much talent for me right now. So, but it was a fun race. It was nice to be back.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun. Looked like some great racing out there. A lot of tight battles as you were slicing and dicing your way up through the field. A few close calls and trying to avoid some of the carnage and mayhem as you navigated your way up there to the front.
Yeah, I had the 69 in front of me, the Pennzoil car, and around turn 4, he got loose or something. I almost got in, so I think I did graze him a little bit, but I was just trying to avoid him completely. I couldn't have stopped. There was no way I could have stopped, but I was hopefully nothing happened on my side that could have caused him to wreck. The caution came out shortly after, so I don't know what happened. I'll have to go back and look at it, but all in all, I'm happy with the finish, especially for how long I've been off. Starting 27th, getting up to 3rd. I can't beat that. I'm happy.
Yeah, you cannot beat that. A lot of really fast cats back there behind you. 2 fast cats in front of you that were dang near untouchable here this evening. And obviously, a heck of a performance for Heath. Great run again here for Tyler Humphrey. But for yourself, man, that was an amazing drive. And great to see you back out there, Lance, as you park it up here on the podium in that beautiful Good Wrench number 29 ride. Who'd you like to thank here tonight, man, for another great run and great race here in the Outcast Racing League?
I want to first thank Musey for getting in touch with me today on Messenger to let me know this league started back up again. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been here. Everybody that welcomed me back with welcome arms with ORL, thank you. Look forward to going in the future and race by race and see what happens. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, brother. Always our pleasure, and it's always great to see you out there. As if I'm not mistaken, I believe you were our season 7, season 8 champion.
Yeah, I can't remember what season. What season are we in now?
I think this
9?
season 11 now.
11. Okay, so it would have been maybe because it's been over a year, so it could have been 9. 8?
Yeah, it could have been 9 or 8, maybe somewhere around there. Yeah, for certain. And obviously for yourself, I mean, a lot of time off, a lot of ways, a lot of time away from that driver's seat, man. Be able to come back and put on performance like this, man, is absolutely awesome. And now maybe you start running, week after week after week, some more good runs like this. Maybe give yourself another chance, an opportunity to go hunt down another championship here in the Outcast Racing League.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. It's been fun, and I'll catch you next week.
Absolutely, man. We look forward to it. Have a great rest of your night, and congrats again on the 3rd place finish.
Thank you so much. You take care.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our 3rd place driver, Lance Brantlinger. Great run, great drive there for Mr. Brantlinger here this evening. Unfortunately, though, that's going to do it for us here this evening in this race. Now, we do have a couple more races here later on this afternoon, so if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family here today, as we're going to be live again here later on this evening. We got some more racing action here tonight. We got another league with the factory stocks on dirt here in just a little bit from Bristol Motor Speedway. That will be firing up in probably about an hour from now, and a couple hours from now we'll be right back here at Phoenix Raceway for the Wheel-to-Wheel Racing League. Some more NASCAR Cup cars out there on the racetrack. Should be another full field. We should be seeing that 35, 40 drivers out there on the racetrack, beating and banging, duking it out, racing, putting on another great show here from Phoenix for all of us to enjoy. But unfortunately, that's going to do it for us here in this one. Huge shout out to all these drivers putting on an epic show for us here this evening. Huge shout out to Must Love Poodles for being our sponsor here for this race, as the Must Love Poodles 250, man, what a run, what a race, what a show that it has been here this evening. And we'll catch y'all back here in the next one in just a little bit. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Who are we? We are Must Love Poodles, where poodles aren't just dogs, they're family. We are a very small in-home breeder of AKC miniature and small standard poodles, where our motto is quality over quantity. where every litter is thoughtfully and intentionally bred. And we know that the best puppies come from great parents. And that's why we test every single parent dog for all genetic and orthopedic related issues. But we don't stop there. We also take our dogs to AKC events and make sure they get titles to prove that they have great temperaments. Every puppy is hand-raised in our home and well socialized. We also utilize puppy curriculum and early training methods, which make our puppies a snap to train. They're very eager and human-focused. Every puppy is also temperament tested, which helps us match the puppy to the right home. At Must Love Poodles, we can't promise you the perfect puppy, but we do promise that we will do our very best to prepare your puppy for its future. If you're looking to add a smart, sociable, and highly trainable dog, and you want a breeder that will be there for you before, during, and after, come on over to www.mustlovepoodles.com or follow us on our Facebook page. We'll see you there.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast lead, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast league ends, never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast league ends, never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.